What if the most important player in the history of women's basketball was about to be offered a contract so massive it could destroy the very league she just saved? This isn't a hypothetical question. It's the reality unfolding behind the scenes in a high-stakes corporate war for the future of the sport. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, a generational talent who has rewritten record books and captured the world's attention. But while she was celebrated on the court, a bombshell rumor was quietly making its way through the sports world, a rumor of a staggering $50 million payout waiting for her, an offer that would expose the deepest secrets and simmering tensions within the WNBA. To understand the sheer explosive power of that number, you first have to understand the shocking reality of what Caitlin Clark actually makes. When she was drafted number 1 overall by the Indiana Fever, her contract became a national talking point, sparking outrage that reached far beyond the world of sports. Her 4-year rookie deal is worth a total of $338,056. In her first year, the year she single-handedly lifted attendance and television ratings to historic highs, her salary was just $76,535. That's less than many recent college graduates make at their first corporate job. The public was stunned. How could the most electrifying athlete in the country, a player with multi-million-dollar endorsement deals with Nike and Wilson, be earning a salary that low? This public relations disaster created the perfect opening for a new, shadowy player to enter the game. The $50 million figure wasn't just a potential salary. It was a weapon, leaked to the public not through an official press release but through a reporter's social media post. It was designed to be a story, a narrative that would fundamentally reframe the public's perception of a player's worth. Whether the offer was real or just a strategic whisper campaign didn't matter. The damage was done. By placing a $50 million price tag next to a $76,000 salary, the story instantly painted the WNBA as an exploitative institution, and this mysterious new league as a potential savior. It was a calculated move of psychological warfare, and it landed on an audience already primed to believe the WNBA was undervaluing its greatest asset. The entity behind this disruptive offer is a venture codenamed Project B, a global basketball league that has been in development for over 2 years, operating in the shadows and assembling a war chest to challenge the established order. This isn't some fly-by-night operation. It's backed by a powerful and unusual coalition of money, technology, and athletic credibility. At the helm are 2 figures from the heart of the tech world, former Facebook executive Grady Burnett and Skype co-founder Jeff Prentice. Their involvement signals a modern, data-driven approach, backed by the kind of capital that has reshaped entire industries. But the real financial muscle comes from a strategic partnership with Sela, an entertainment company owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, or PF. This is the same sovereign wealth fund that bankrolled the LIV Golf Tour, a disruptive force that successfully fractured the world of professional golf by offering contracts that the PGA Tour simply couldn't match. The PIF has, for all intents and purposes, bottomless pockets, and their stated goal is to use sports to expand their global influence. To lend the project immediate legitimacy, they've brought in a roster of respected athletes as investors and advisors, including tennis superstar Novak Djokovic, NFL Hall of Famer Steve Young, and most critically, WNBA legends Candace Parker and Alana Beard. Project B's structure is as ambitious as its financing. It's being designed as an F1 for basketball, a traveling global spectacle. The plan involves 6 teams competing in a series of 2-week tournaments held in major cities across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. The league season is strategically planned to run from autumn through April. This is a crucial detail. It's designed to run during the WNBA's off-season, avoiding a direct head-to-head conflict. This allows Project B to present itself not as a replacement for the WNBA, but as a lucrative supplementary option for players looking to earn more money. It's a subtle but brilliant strategy of asymmetrical warfare. Instead of launching a frontal assault on the NBA, a financial titan, they are targeting the established sports world at its most vulnerable point, women's basketball. The WNBA is far more financially fragile than its male counterpart. Its salary structures are dramatically lower, and its players have a long history of playing overseas during the off-season to make ends meet. By offering salaries that are multiples higher than what the WNBA can pay, along with equity stakes in the league itself, Project B aims to do more than just coexist. It aims to quietly drain the WNBA of its top talent, gutting the league's star power without ever playing a game on the same day. It's a silent takeover, not a loud declaration of war. To understand why so many WNBA players might be willing to listen to an offer from a rival league, you have to understand the deep, festering wounds within the WNBA itself. The league is currently locked in a bitter and protracted battle with its own players over its financial future, a conflict that has exposed a system many athletes feel is fundamentally broken. The core of the issue lies in the league's shocking pay structure. The entire salary cap for a WNBA team is around $1.50 million, less than what a single player on a minimum contract makes in the NBA. The highest possible supermax salary a veteran star can earn is approximately $249,000 a year. But the most damning statistic, the one that fuels the players' sense of injustice, is the revenue split. WNBA players collectively receive only about 9% of the league's total revenue. In stark contrast, their counterparts in the NBA have a collective bargaining agreement that guarantees them a roughly 50-50 split of all basketball-related income. This disparity is at the heart of the current labor dispute. The players' union, feeling the surge of popularity and revenue brought in by stars like Caitlin Clark, opted out of their collective bargaining agreement 2 years early, demanding a complete overhaul of the league's economic model. Their demands are clear: a better revenue-sharing system, significantly higher salaries, and improved working conditions, including better travel accommodations and family benefits. The league's response has been seen by many players as insultingly inadequate. Their latest reported offer includes a new supermax salary of around $850,000. While that's a more than threefold increase, it still falls embarrassingly short of what players believe they are worth and pales in comparison to the life-changing figures being floated by Project B. This financial struggle is not new. For years, WNBA players have been forced to play overseas during their off-season to supplement their meager salaries. This grueling year-round schedule has led to burnout and devastating injuries. In 2019, a torn Achilles suffered by Breanna Stewart while playing in Europe became a major flashpoint in the last CBA negotiation, a stark reminder of the physical risks players were taking just to earn a living wage. The WNBA is now trapped in a dangerous growth paradox. The league's business is booming. Viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales are at all-time highs. Team valuations are skyrocketing, with the owners of new expansion franchises in cities like Philadelphia and Cleveland paying a staggering $250 million each to join the league. A new media rights deal worth billions is on the horizon. Yet the players, the very people generating this explosion of value, are seeing almost none of it. Their compensation is still tied to a financial structure that was negotiated in 2020 before the Caitlin Clark effect changed everything. This has created a pressure cooker environment where the owners are reaping the rewards of an unprecedented boom, while the players feel they are being systematically shortchanged. It's a league at war with itself, creating the perfect conditions for a well-funded disruptor to arrive and offer a way out. The disconnect between the WNBA's front office and its players has been personified by one figure, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. A former CEO of the corporate consulting giant Deloitte, Engelbert was brought in to professionalize the league's business operations. However, many players see her as a corporate leader who lacks a fundamental understanding of the game's culture and the athletes who drive it. This simmering tension erupted into a full-blown crisis when Napheesa Collier, a star player for the Minnesota Lynx and a vice president of the Players Union, went public with a stunning account of a private conversation she had with the commissioner. In a statement that sent shockwaves through the sports world, Collier alleged that Engelbert had made two deeply condescending remarks that revealed a profound disrespect for the players. The first was about Caitlin Clark. According to Collier, Engelbert's response to a question about Clark's low salary was, "Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything." The second comment was even more inflammatory. Collier claimed that in the same conversation, Engelbert told her that the players should be on their knees, thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic for Engelbert's credibility. She issued a public denial of the Clark comment, but her response was seen by many as evasive, and it did little to quell the firestorm. Players across the league rallied behind Collier on social media, creating a powerful, unified front against the league's leadership. The incident exposed a chasm of mistrust between the commissioner and the athlete she is supposed to lead. It's now widely reported that Engelbert is expected to be forced out of her position as soon as a new CBA is finalized, a clear sign that she has lost the faith of both the players and, potentially, the team owners. This conflict, however, is about more than just a few ill-advised comments. It reveals a fundamental philosophical war over where value comes from in modern sports. Engelbert's alleged perspective represents an old, institutional model, where the league is the all-powerful platform that bestows value upon the players. In this view, the WNBA is the star maker, but the players, and a growing number of fans and analysts, see the world differently. In the 21st century media landscape, superstar athletes are the platforms. Caitlin Clark was already a multi-million-dollar brand with massive endorsement deals while she was still in college, long before she ever wore a WNBA jersey. She brought her immense following and marketability to the league, creating enormous value for the institution, not the other way around. Engelbert's alleged failure to grasp this seismic shift in the power dynamics of sports is why her leadership is now seen as untenable. It wasn't just that she insulted her players, she fundamentally misunderstood the nature of her own business in the era of the athlete as brand. Perhaps the most shocking twist in the rise of Project B is that the threat to the WNBA isn't just coming from outside forces. It's being built and legitimized from within by some of the most respected and beloved figures in the league's history. This isn't a hostile takeover by outsiders. It's a revolution being led by WNBA royalty. Two of the key figures driving Project B are Candace Parker and Alana Beard, two icons of the game. Their roles are not merely ceremonial. Alana Beard, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year and a WNBA champion, is a co-founder and the league's chief basketball officer. She is the architect of the on-court product, the person responsible for building the teams and ensuring the quality of play is elite. Candace Parker, a three-time champion, two-time MVP, and a future first-ballot Hall of Famer, is a high-profile investor and advisor, lending her considerable influence and credibility to the venture. These are not just names on a letterhead, they are legends who have lived the WNBA experience. Beard was a lockdown defender known for her intelligence and tenacity, while Parker is one of the most versatile and celebrated players of all time who has since become a prominent and respected media personality. Their involvement is a strategic masterstroke. It transforms Project B from a group of tech billionaires and foreign investors into a credible player-led movement. When Alana Beard speaks about her vision for the league, she does so with the authority of someone who has been in the trenches. She has stated that she's always had her mind set on ownership and is dedicated to building a fairer, more equitable structure for female athletes. This frames her involvement not as a betrayal of the WNBA, but as a mission to fix a system she knows is broken from the inside. Parker and Beard are the ultimate Trojan horse. Without them, it would be easy for the WNBA to dismiss Project B as an outside threat that doesn't understand the culture of women's basketball. But with them, the new league gains instant and unimpeachable legitimacy. They know the players, they know the agents, and they know firsthand the frustrations with the WNBA's low pay and grueling travel schedules. When Candace Parker picks up the phone to pitch a current WNBA star on joining the new league, that call gets answered. It's not a corporate pitch from a Silicon Valley executive. It's a conversation between peers, from one legend to a future one. This inside access, this shared experience, and this deep well of trust is something that money alone cannot buy. It makes Project B an existential threat on a level the WNBA has never faced before. For all its promises of financial liberation, the massive payouts offered by Project B come with a dark and complicated ethical price tag. The source of the league's seemingly limitless funding is Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, a move that places the venture squarely in the center of the global debate over sports washing. Sports washing is the term used to describe the practice of authoritarian regimes using high-profile sporting events and investments to launder their international reputations, distracting the world from their records of human rights abuses. Human rights organizations like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International have been vocal critics of Saudi Arabia's multi-billion-dollar push into sports, arguing that it serves to normalize a regime with a deeply troubling record. Their concerns are specific and well-documented. Despite recent reforms, such as allowing women to drive, Saudi Arabia's legal system still codifies aspects of the male guardianship system, which requires women to have a male guardian's permission for major life decisions. Women's rights activists who have campaigned for these very reforms have been imprisoned, and the government continues to impose harsh sentences for peaceful online expression. The country also criminalizes homosexual acts, creating a climate of fear and self-censorship for LGBTQ+ individuals. This creates a profound and deeply uncomfortable irony at the heart of Project B's offer. A league that promises to provide female athletes with unprecedented financial freedom and equity is being bankrolled by a government that is consistently criticized for the systemic oppression of women. This forces players like Caitlin Clark into an impossible moral quandary. Is it possible to accept life-changing generational wealth without implicitly endorsing the regime that provides it? Can you cash a check for $50 million while ignoring the human cost at which that money was generated? The investment in a women's basketball league, specifically, represents what may be the most advanced and cynical form of sports washing yet. While Saudi Arabia's investments in men's sports like golf and soccer have drawn heavy criticism, funding a women's league is a far more sophisticated public relations maneuver. It allows the regime to generate positive headlines that directly counter the primary narrative used against them. A headline that reads "Saudi-backed league makes Caitlin Clark the highest-paid female team sport athlete in history" is a powerful tool designed to overshadow reports about jailed women's rights activists. It's a targeted strike against their biggest reputational vulnerability. This puts the WNBA, a league that has proudly branded itself as one of the most progressive and socially conscious sports organizations in the world, in a no-win situation. If its players begin to leave for Saudi-backed money, it not only depletes the league of its talent, but it also shatters its moral and brand identity. It forces a choice between financial survival and ideological consistency, a choice for which there is no easy answer. Imagine for a moment the doomsday scenario for the WNBA. What happens if Caitlin Clark, the transcendent star who is the engine of the league's current boom, says yes? The consequences would be immediate, widespread, and potentially fatal for the league as we know it. Her departure would not be the loss of just one player. It would be a seismic event that triggers a catastrophic domino effect. Clark's acceptance of a massive contract from Project B would serve as the ultimate validation. It would be a signal to every other star player in the WNBA that the money is real, the league is legitimate, and the exodus is on. The financial foundations of the WNBA's recent success would crumble overnight. The league's new multi-billion-dollar media rights deal, the very contract that is supposed to secure its future, would be instantly devalued. Broadcasters paid a premium for the Caitlin Clark effect, the record-breaking ratings and sold-out arenas that follow her everywhere she goes. Without her, they would be left broadcasting a depleted league, stripped of its main attraction. The league's ambitious expansion plans would grind to a halt. The soaring franchise valuations that have seen new owners pay up to $250 million for a team would plummet. Who would invest that kind of money in a league that just lost its generational superstar to a richer rival? The WNBA would be backed into a corner with three grim options: fold completely, attempt a forced merger from a position of weakness, or capitulate to the financial power of Project B and become, in effect, a lesser partner or a feeder system. The parallels to the world of golf are unavoidable. The PGA Tour, once the undisputed king of the sport, was forced into an uneasy and controversial alliance with LIV Golf after a protracted and costly battle for talent. The WNBA, with far fewer financial resources, would be in an even weaker negotiating position. This is what makes Caitlin Clark's decision so monumental. It is not merely a personal career choice about where to play basketball. It has become the single most important leverage point in the battle for the future of professional women's sports. She has, perhaps unintentionally, become the kingmaker. The entire economic model of the WNBA's current prosperity is built on her presence. The entire launch strategy of Project B is predicated on its ability to secure a globally recognized, game-changing talent to serve as its foundation. Clark sits at the exact nexus of these two powerful opposing forces. If she says yes, she validates and launches Project B into the stratosphere. If she says no, she deals the upstart league a significant, though perhaps not fatal, blow and buys the WNBA precious time to get its house in order. No single female athlete in the history of sports has ever held this much power to single-handedly shape the destiny of an entire professional sports ecosystem. The decision facing Caitlin Clark is one of the most complex and high-stakes choices any athlete has ever had to make. This isn't a simple matter of choosing between two contracts. It's a tangled web of competing loyalties, ethical dilemmas, and revolutionary opportunities. On one side, there is the WNBA, the league she grew up dreaming of playing in, the institution that represents the pinnacle of her sport. On the other, there is a chance at generational wealth, a payout so large it would not only change her life, but would also reset the entire financial landscape for female athletes forever. It is a choice between loyalty and opportunity. It is a choice between the right to demand fair market value for her incredible talent and the moral implications of where that money comes from. And it is a choice between leading a player revolution that could secure financial freedom for her peers and the risk of destroying the very institution that has provided a platform for women's basketball for nearly 3 decades. This is more than just a contract negotiation. It's a battle for the soul of women's sports. The path she chooses will have consequences that ripple out for years to come, shaping the ambitions and opportunities of every young girl who picks up a basketball. So what would you do? Take the money and change the game forever, or stay and fight to change it from within? The choice Caitlin Clark makes won't just define her career, it will define the next generation of women's sports.